I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the stand, where Miss Dream always has a story.
It's Dream, and we got a season 2. Your Black Bostonian here, a product of a single mother who I work to make proud every single day. I'm a 3-degree holder, your veteran educator, your tech entrepreneur, and founder of the Chair platform. My platform is dedicated to supporting Black and Brown people on their hair journey by creating hair boards, connecting to hairstylists, and sharing haircare tips for a more joyous experience. My podcast is about sharing hair stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and stories surrounding identity with goals to leave you laughing, learning, and advocating. So come in and listen to the stories in the chair.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Vic Winter with a Y. Vic, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Vic Winter with a Y, no S. I don't know. People sometimes add a Winters to it when I say that. I just have to clarify. How do I to introduce myself? I like to say that I'm a curator of experience. I'm a creative. I'm a producer. I'm many things depending on the day.
I'm so curious because you mentioned it earlier that you were getting doula training. What made you want to go in that direction?
I'm very fascinated by birth. I would describe myself as a Black trans non-binary person, and I'm very amazed that my body can do that. I myself never want to have a child, but I still am fascinated by that and in awe that our bodies can do that. And I wanted to find a way that wasn't 25,000 years of med school to still support that process. And so that's when I thought I would do training. And of course, I couldn't just do training here because that's not enough. I elected to do a dueling training in Uganda for a couple of weeks because I also know, being first generation Jamaican, the Western way is not the way. And so I wanted my education around birthing not to be solely steeped in the Western practices around birthing because it's a lot more expansive than that. So I signed up for this program. I didn't have no money to go, but I was like, I'm going to figure out my way. And I did. And I'm just very grateful for that experience of being able to go out there and learn about doula work in the way that I did. Also teach people. I was the only transgender queer person. And so having folks break down their language around what a birthing parent is, because it was very much respectfully love all of them, but it was like, we're sisterhood and all these things. And it's like, to an extent, sure, but also you're leaving out an entire demographic of people that give birth because they don't consider themselves to be a woman in the way that they might define that. And so I was appreciative of what I learned and the self journey I went through, and also the ability to teach those folks about that other aspect of folks that they're literally leaving out.
So have you been a part of deliveries since then?
So when I came back from the program, I signed up for Chicago Volunteer Doulas, and I was on call quite a few times. You're on a rotation of being on call, and you might get called in, you might not. And I actually helped a young person. They were, I want to say, 14 or 15. And I showed up, and I don't look like the quote unquote typical doula. So I let them know that I was the doula on call. And when I tell you, these nurses asked me several different times, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. And so when I finally got in there, I was scared. I was terrified. Just to be clear, I was terrified. But it was the teen parent, the father, and I forgot whose parent was there, but they weren't there for long. And one thing that I experienced while I was there was they were talking to basically everybody but the parent. And so I tried my best to be with them and ask them what they need, slash, come up with things that they can do because they were nervous, they were scared. And the medical industry is very invasive. We know that historically, Black women are the most at risk for dying during birth. And it's not because of any actual factors besides negligence. And so it felt and it still feels very important to be champions of them. So that was my first experience with the birth. I didn't make it all the way to them actually giving birth. They were laboring for quite some hours, but I tried my best to be with them in the time that I was with them. And it did feel as though my presence made a difference. And then more recently, I had the very fortunate experience of being there with my cousin, who's 1 year younger than me. And I'm the godparent for their baby, and I was there for the whole thing. I had moments where I had to step up because it was just me and the father, but they might as well have not been there. That's what I'll say about that. And so I'm glad that I could be there with her. And there was simple stuff like, ooh, yeah, it's rough. There was a nurse that kept coming into the room for supplies that were in the room, but it had nothing to do with my cousin's birth. And after the second time, I was like, okay, well, if you don't actually have anything to do with this birthing mother laboring in this room, I shouldn't see you again. Mm. And I let it slide twice, but then I called them out and I was like, I know y'all are trying to do your job. And also, hear me when I say this and please don't let it happen again. And they surely changed up their tune. It was very surprising or shocking to me that such a sacred space, and I know it's their job, it's their day to day, was just being it was being disrespected. And I didn't appreciate that. My cousin was literally in the middle of their epidural where they have a long fucking needle in your back. And you can't, family members or whoever's with the person can't be near them. You have to be backed away. A nurse came in and was talking to that clinician that was administering the epidural, asking about another patient. And that was my last straw. Oh, because that's so dangerous. The casualness with which she was talking about this other patient and their needs as my cousin was getting that administered, I saw red. I saw red. I saw red. And that's when I said something. And so it's moments like that I'm so glad I was there for. And being able to talk her through it and be present the whole time. Because had I not been there, it would have just been her and the medical staff. And I'm just so grateful that she felt comfortable inviting me into that and that I could be there for the process.
All of the reading I do on Black women in medicine, it still frustrates me when I hear current stories about how Black women are not being catered and taken care of. I can read all the stats and I'm, of course, desensitized to it. But when you hear the stories, state to state, person to person, there's still this element of dismissiveness and lack of care that should be.
Quite often. Yeah, quite often.
What would be your advice to Black people who are on the fence about getting their doula certification or asking for one?
What? Do it. I've learned there's no one particular model. And so if you want to do doula work, you definitely have to essentially create your own curriculum. And there is accredited organizations, of course, to go through. But as you're doing that, also just remember a lot of the tools necessary you have within you. That's one thing I struggle with. I was like, how do I know I'm doing it? How will I know that I'm really a doula? And it's really just about being there for support. Obviously, you need to train up for the medical knowledge, of course. But at the end of the day, you're there to support someone in a very integral part in their life. And so don't second guess yourself. Just do it. We need y'all. I know that I don't actively practice right now, but later in life, I do want to return back to that. We need y'all. Just do it. The thing I like to say is move with the confidence of a mediocre white man, and you'll be good. Because you'll be 3 to 4 times skilled than that. You'll be way more skilled than them.
Yeah, that's it's crazy. Ah, the
No,
nonsense.
move with that confidence. I'm not playing.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hair boards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hair boards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show.
The chair.
So my podcast is called The Chair, where we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about identity, but we also talk about hair. Hair, for many, falls into so many categories of their life. And it is the foundation for me for starting this podcast, because I have built a platform to support Black and brown people on their hair journey, and realizing that no amount of pictures will show the stories. People have you have to hear the stories, how hair is significant. And so I'm curious to know, do you remember the first time you fell in love with your hair?
Oh, what a beautiful love story it was. The first time I fell in love with my hair. So I'm thinking of a couple times. I think when I was younger and I would go get my hair braided and get beads. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing, okay? Like I was really the one in the tube. When I studied abroad in Botswana, I made the decision to start my locks there. And that is truly, like in my adult life, one of the first times I truly loved the hair that was on top of my head, and I was excited for the journey that I was going to go on. And I had my locks, I want to say, about 6 years. Yeah, around 6 years. When I decided to cut it, it was a very, very big deal because there's a lot of deep spiritual connection I had to my locks. But also because of that, hair carries a lot of energy. From when I started in Botswana, it was very beautiful. The twisting, the twist ups that you do, like the patterns that they had my shit in, I was like, I've never seen anything like that here personally. And so I was just very in awe of that. And then as they began growing, just marking time by the length of your locks and like the eras that you were in, it's really something nice I like to reflect to. And like towards the end, like part of the reason I cut them is because they weren't in the best shape or health. And I feel like that was reflective of like all the things that I was going through. Like my hair was not healthy. And so I also was leaving a time in my life that caused a lot of it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And so cutting my hair was a moment of coming back into myself because even though the locks had a great significance, they didn't really it was time to let go, if that makes any sense. And so now I'm like itching to start my locks again. But like starting them in Botswana was something like I treasure. It's really special to me that I started them and then continued that journey coming home.
Do you think if you go back to maybe a different country in Africa, spending some more time there, that you would start your lock journey again?
Oh, I absolutely would. I think I'm definitely going to start it here, but I would prefer, I would prefer, ideally, I'd be starting it. Or even if I like went home to Jamaica, I would love to start my locks there as opposed to here. There is a lot of ceremony and ritual around it. It's just so special. It's just so special. And I miss them. And I like the many different forms my hair has taken over the years since I cut them, like being able to dye my hair fun colors for a year, having like more of a shaved head, and like now that it's growing out. I'm enjoying that too, especially because it's gender affirming. And also, I just feel like some people just, there's a particular style. It's like, oh yeah, that's you. That's you. And that feels like that with locks.
I have talked to some other trans black people, and hair has always been this conversation surrounding who they want to be and who they
Mm-hmm.
believe they're going to be. Do you feel that same sentiment?
It's taken me a while, but no, because I know who I am. I think that who I want to be or striving towards something else, that probably happened in my freshman year of college. I remember I chopped off that perm. I did the big chop. I was looking insane. I didn't have no plan but to just regrow my hair in a healthier way. And I was in that little bathroom. I was chopping off all my hair. And that was a moment where I was striving towards who I want to be slash who I strive to be. It took a lot, especially being on my own for the first time, learning how to maintain my hair that wasn't constantly being permed or put up into braids. That was like a little difficult because it definitely affected my confidence of feeling beautiful or feeling like myself. But like in retrospect, it probably was an aspect of like my gender journey that I wasn't privy to. And so I feel like that moment in my freshman year was something like that. But now I feel very firm in myself. And so whatever hairstyle I do is based in that, firmly based in that. And so much so that I'll like try to experiment with something. It'll look good, but I'm like, that's not quite it. I think I recently got these like, what do you call them? I call them rope twists. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Rope twist.
They're like the 2-strand twists.
Oh, yeah.
Senegalese twist. That's
Yeah, the
that's what they're.
Senegalese twist. Yep.
Yeah, which I was rocking that in college because I used to get that done in Jamaica. But I would get like a certain length, and I was like, that was me. But I got like a shoulder length one with these really bright red and orange colors. It looked good. It was really well done, but it just wasn't me. And I didn't like them because it wasn't me. The person that did my hair got these edges together. You know, it looked really, really lovely. And I was able to see that and be like, not so much. Whereas in the past, I probably would have just been rocking with him.
Mm. Do you feel that same way about facial hair? When I talk to other trans black people, they were talking about their facial hair being another significant hair journey for themselves. And I was like, oh. And when I was talking to black men, they were also talking about how the beard or the mustache or just having more hair on their arms was just more significant to them about age and adulthood.
1,111,000,000,000%. I feel comfortable sharing, like, as a trans non-binary person, I'm a person who uses testosterone. And so one thing I really loved was the increase in like belly hair. I think belly hair is so cute. So that was like a very affirming thing, as well as the facial hair. It's been filling in over the years. The other day, a friend was simply like, "Oh, you got something in your beard," and I was like, "Yes, it is a beard. I know it is so sad." Like I was so excited. I wasn't even worried what was in there, but the fact that they could say that, and I recently got headshots done. Really seeing how my facial hair has come in has been a very powerful gender affirming thing. It was a lot less at first, but being able to go to the barber and have them clean that up and there's actual hair from them clean it absolutely is a gender affirming thing, as well as just taking testosterone. You go through another puberty, so it's coming into self again, and having the like increased facial hair and like the belly hair, that makes me very happy.
That's so exciting. That's so cool. I think it's just so beautiful for me to hear because I'm working really hard to be able just to get more black trans voices on my podcast. And I love hearing about their hair journey because I spend a lot of time thinking about my own and hearing the nuances over and over again through different stages of someone's personhood is it's just so it tastes like sunshine to me. That's what it tastes like.
Oh, I'm gonna be sitting with that. It tastes like sunshine to me. It tastes like sunshine to me. And I think getting my locks done in Botswana, that it tasted like sunshine. And then now with the facial hair, it tastes like sunshine. It's the, I guess the like technical term is like my experience of gender dysphoria of like looking in the mirror and being like, that doesn't feel like me. And so the hair has been something that helps what I feel internally and then see externally align with one another. That has definitely been one of those attributes that contribute to that.
Well, Vic, you are definitely the sunrise and the sunset. And I truly, truly appreciate you sitting in the chair and sharing your stories.
Oh, you are so precious. Thank you so much for having me. I remember actually when you first were beginning on this venture and you were just taking calls and gathering information.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know how many years ago that was, but to like be a part of that initial phase and then seeing the consistent and gradual progression of this work has been very beautiful to witness. Something I've learned from you is endurance to pursue the things that matter to you and the time it takes to make something well. And so I appreciate you inviting me on the chair to speak with you about this, because it's just been like beautiful to witness. Just the like ability to voice people's stories by way of this podcast has been really great to witness. I appreciate this outlet and this conversation today.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dream always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I'm going to share with you a dream of mine. I would love to be on Sesame Street. Sesame Street held my hand through childhood. In my dream, I would be in my big afro or rainbow braids sitting on the stoop sharing hair stories. I would like your help, please, by doing all the things like leave a review, share it with someone who would benefit from hearing this episode. And if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone at Sesame Street, share your favorite episode with them and I'll make you some of my famous chocolatey hot chocolate. I hope you have a beautiful day, or if you are like me, still up in the middle of the night, I hope you take a deep breath and rest. Love you. Talk to you later.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Dream, hello. I just wanted to tell you you're wonderful. I just got through going through your podcast. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Keep it up. Maybe I need to send it to Oprah and Tyler Perry. Love you, baby. You are great.
Where we share stories in the chicken.